Welcome back to Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, with our special guest, General David Petraeus. Sir, we're just about to get into what's happening, obviously, on the ground and amongst NATO allies with the Russian invasion of Ukraine. What do you see as necessary for the U.S., obviously Canada and other NATO allies to do to better meet the threat from Vladimir Putin?
Well, it's really to press forward as quickly as we can with what it is that we have committed in terms of weapons systems, vehicles, military equipment of various types, economic assistance. All of this is vitally important. And Ukraine is in a bit of a race. Russia is trying to achieve everything it can in the east and southeast of Ukraine, having failed to achieve its number one objective, which was, of course, to take Kyiv, topple the government, and replace President Zelensky with a pro-Russian figure. They essentially acknowledged that, withdrew their forces from Kyiv after terrible losses, also from two other northern cities, Chernihiv and Sumy, and have focused all those resources now coming in from the east and through the southeast. And they want to achieve, again, as much as they can. I think by 9 May, the traditional celebration in Moscow of World War II Victory Day. And I'm sure that Vladimir Putin would like to have some kind of accomplishment to announce that could at least somewhat bolster the idea that this has been worth this enormous sacrifice. The estimates of their losses range from at least 15,000 soldiers and above 20,000. You multiply that times 3 for probably so seriously wounded that they can't return to their units. And you have some sense of the staggering losses that they've sustained. And then documented. There are, today's day and age with smartphones and social media and drone videos and everything else, there's a website that actually literally just painstakingly documents the losses Russia has suffered. And it's over 3,000 vehicles, armored systems, various other weapons and kit and so forth, again, that are significant enough to make it onto that list. It's Oryx, ORYX, I believe it is. You can see it for yourself, and it's really quite dramatic to consider that Russia has lost, for example, well over 2 and maybe approaching 3 years worth of production of tanks alone in the past 8 weeks. That's staggering. So Ukraine has fought magnificently, brilliantly, with determination, with extraordinary courage on their front lines, great creativity, resourcefulness, initiative, all of these qualities that in many respects are lacking in the Russian force. They've never had a professional non-commissioned officer corps. They don't have initiative in the junior ranks. In fact, the junior ranks are full of about a quarter of them conscripts who only spend a year in the service and were supposed to have been going home in this month. So again, a host of challenges for the Russians that have been uncovered. Their generals are being lost at a staggering rate, 10 or more of them already, just because their communication systems are so easily eavesdropped on and jammed by just ordinary citizens in Ukraine with a police scanner or a ham radio operator. So you have all of these challenges that have been uncovered. 3 commanders at the beginning, so you didn't have unity of command. You do now have that. Sadly, it's the hands of General Dvornikov, who was known as the butcher of Syria for what he did to Aleppo in 2016 when he oversaw a brutal bombing campaign that basically depopulated the parts of the city that were still resisting. But so that's where you are. And this is a pivotal moment. Ukraine trying to get everything it can into its country, up to its troops, into the hands of the professionals and so forth, while Russia's trying to gain as much ground as it possibly can before Ukraine has this extraordinary addition to its combat power.
We've got about a minute before our next break, but I got to ask this as a former decorated general and soldier. Were you surprised at how poorly the Russian military did in the first weeks of the campaign?
Not completely, because I had visited Ukraine. I had a sense of the enormous professionalization they'd gone through since the 2014 occupation of Crimea by Russia, and also the support for the Russian separatists, the sympathizers in the southeastern part of the country. I visited the front lines. I was in eastern Ukraine, and I was very, very impressed. And that realization, plus the sense of how relatively small compared to what Russia was trying to do at the outset, that force was. I've obviously invaded a country, and I was only a two-star at that time, but I have some sense of how hard it is to conduct urban operations, how draining it can be in terms of soldiers and all the rest. And so from before the beginning, I said that they would not take Kyiv, much less ever control. But I must say, even beyond that, I've been surprised at the lack of modern equipment, most of all, because of the much vaunted Russian modernization effort that has gone on.